Okay, in this video we're going to be talking about the quiz that we just took yesterday, the Unit 6A quiz number 4. All right, so let's just go ahead and jump on into this. Joe bought a truck for $59,004. The TAVT is 7%. If Joe wrote the check for the entire purchase, how much did he write? All right, so basically, most folks got this. So 59,004, we're going to times that by the percentage as a decimal 0.07. We're going to get what is the tax. All right, then we are going to take the tax and then we are going to add it back to 59,000. All right, so when we do that, we get an answer of $63,134.28. All right, Al gets paid by his production. If he gets it 55 cents for the first 200 units produced, 80 cents for anything else above 200. All right, so Al produced 195. So the thing is, he never went over and beyond 200. So that means that the entire 195 will get multiplied by 55 cents. But remember, when you do that, 55 cents written as a decimal would be 0.55. So 195 times 0.55. That's what we're doing, and our answer ends up being $107.25. All right. Number 3, Dave, Bill, Steve, George are brothers. We've seen this question before. We got to convert everything to something. All right, so I'm going to convert everybody's salary to a yearly salary. Okay, that's my plan. So here we go. All right, so first off, we have Dave. Dave, he gets $1,950 bi-weekly. So I'm going to times that by 26 because that's what bi-weekly is. So when I do that, I get a yearly of 50,700. Okay. Next is, we'll just say George. All right, so George is getting paid. Let's see. George is getting paid. He's getting paid monthly, 4,500. Well, monthly, I have to times it by 12, and then his yearly pay ends up being 54,000. All right. Next is, we'll go with Steve. All right, Steve. All right, so let's see. Steve is getting paid $25.50 an hour. All right. Now, I got to multiply that by 40 hours because that's what full time is. And when I do that, I then got to multiply it by 52 because 40 hours a week times 52. And let's see, Steve's getting paid 53,040. And then lastly, Bill, his weekly pay is 1,200 a week, and I'm going to times that by 52 because that's what I do to get a week, and then I get 62,400. All right, so from here, let's just go ahead and figure out who got paid the most. So Bill got paid the most, and then after that, it's going to be George. After that, it's going to be Steve, and after that, it's going to be Dave. There you go. There's your answers. Again, convert it to one pay scale, which in this case I did yearly. All right, Julie works for XYZ. Complete her biweekly. All right, so we already have our gross pay. So we're going to multiply her gross pay by all the percentages of the problem. So, like for example, just to kind of keep this from going drawn out, federal income tax is 10%. State income tax is 3%. Social Security is 6.2. Medicare is 1.45. So I'm going to multiply all those percentages by the gross pay. So the federal FIT ends up being $172 even. Social Security ends up being 106.64. Medicare ends up being 24.94. State ends up being $51.60. See, medical ends up being $41.54. Union dues is 20. Oh, we'll deal with that 41.50. Sorry, I just started copying. And then the other is 150. All right. So let's talk about the medical because I just kind of breezed right over that. So it says she pays 15% of the healthcare costs. So 7,200. We're going to times that by 0.15. We're going to get a number. All right, and then we got to convert that to, oh, there it is, bi-weekly. So I have to divide this by bi-weekly, which is 26. So that's where I got the 41.54. And then from here, I'm going to add up all this information, and then I'm going to subtract it from 1720. And when I do that, the answer ends up being $1,153.28. That's how much money the net pay is. Okay. All right, next one, John invested $15,000 simple interest account. Now, this is what I would encourage you to do, and that is when you are writing the formula that you're going to use, make sure you put the first letter, and I'll show you in a second. First off, simple interest, that's the I formula. All right. So some of you guys are doing this, and I think you're getting confused. You're getting 15,000, parenthesis, 0.06, and then we have 90 months. It needs to be 90 divided by 12. And then you're pressing enter, and you're getting a number of 6,750. And you have no idea where do we do with that 6,750. So my solution to that is make sure you put an I in front of your formula, because that just reminds you that, hey, interest is what I just solved for because there's an I in front of it. All right, so 6,750. All right, now the next question is, what is the balance? Remember, the balance is what you started with plus the interest. All right, so in this case, what I started with was 15,000, and then my interest 6,750. That's how I figure out what my balance is. All right, so my answer ends up being 21,750. All right, so next one, Sarah invests $6,500 in an account that pays compounded monthly. That's going to be the big formula. All right, now to make sure I'm not going to get confused, I'm actually going to start the big formula with a B, because I know I'm going to solve for the balance. So 6,500, parenthesis, 1 plus 0.05 divided by monthly is 12. All right, and I'm going to raise that to the power of 12 times 6. Now watch this. Actually, press enter. Raise that to a power. There we go. And so my answer ends up being B is equal to $8,768.62. Now again, because of the fact I put my B here, I know that my answer is balanced. Some of you guys are getting these messed up. So $8,768.62. Some of you guys are doing this. You're doing it right there. That's not how much interest was earned. It was what the balance was. So in order to figure out how much interest is earned, I know I'll cover this in class, but to find interest, we're going to take our balance and then subtract the starting amount. Okay? So with that being said, this is what it's going to look like. My interest will be my balance, which was $8,768.62, and I'm going to subtract my starting amount, $6,500. So when I do that, it ends up being $2,268.62. All right. Cindy is 18 years old, and she will invest $5,000 in an account that with an interest, all right, compounds continuously. All right, continuously is our PERT formula. Okay. So here we go. So again, because of the fact that I'm going to be thorough as possible, B, which is that's what it starts with, 5,000 E raised to the power of 0.0725, and I'll raise it in a second, times, let's see, 7. Alrighty. So when I do that, my balance ends up being, and the calculator does everything, $8,305.67. Now, because of the fact that that is the balance, I know it's going to go right there. All right, because there's no reason to argue that, because the formula starts with a B. So to get my interest, I'm going to take my balance and I'm going to subtract it by the starting amount. So when I do that, I get an interest of $3,305.67. All right. So Lewis has $2,000 and wants to invest simple interest. So simple interest, that is going to be the I formula again. This guy, that's simple interest. All right. So simple interest CD with interest rate of 2.6. All right. So more people are getting this right, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But we're looking for $704 in interest. We're starting with $2,000. All right. 0.022, and we're looking for T. Okay. So when I do that, my next step is 704 is equal to, I believe that ends up being 44T. Okay. And then I divide, and when I do that, 16 is equal to T. So it will take 16 years in order for that $2,000 to get $704. All right, Brandy went to the local car lot with $25,000 cash. She has found a car. All right, so this question is just like question number 1. So 25,000 times 0.055. When I do that, I'm going to get my tax, and then I'm going to, again, add the tax back to my original amount. And so when I do that, I get an answer of $25,214.50. Now the question is, she only had $25,000 cash. So will she have enough cash to cover the cost? And the answer is no, she won't. So she will not have enough cash. So the answer is no. All right, next question. All right, a lot of folks getting this wrong. All right, so let me give myself a little bit of room to write here. All right, so Toby gets paid $20 an hour in the local grocery store and then get time and a half and then double time for working beyond 60 hours. So Toby worked 66 hours. Okay, so I'm going to show you 2 ways. All right, so the first one I'm going to show is there's 66, and I'm going to divide it into 3 ways. All right, so this is regular time, RT. Okay, this right here is overtime, OT, and then lastly, this is double time. All right, the first thing you need to know, and that is regular time is 40 hours. Okay, I got to write 40 hours. I won't have enough room. 40 hours at $20 an hour. Okay, now what gets people confused is the whole overtime thing. All right, so they have no idea what to put here. Okay, so what I would recommend you do, going over to double time, and it says double time is anything beyond 60 hours. He made 66, or he worked 66 hours, so that's 6 hours beyond 60. So double time would mean he's getting paid $20 an hour. He's now getting paid $40 an hour. All right, now, again, look here. We have 66 hours. The first 40 are accounted for. The last 6 are accounted for, but we need overtime. So when you do the math, 40 and 6 adds up to 46, okay? Which means the number of overtime hours would have to be 20, all right? And at 20 hours, he's going to be paid at $30 an hour. Now you might be saying, where the heck did you get $30 an hour? Because off to the side, I took his regular pay, which is $20, and times it by 1.5. That gave me $30 an hour. Okay, so I'm then going to, let me clean this up a little bit. I'm then going to take this, add it, or multiply, and add it all up. So when I do that, I get an answer of 1,640. Okay, now if that's confusing, here's another way. Here's a line. This represents 0 hours. This represents 66 hours, okay? So I know that regular time gets cut off at 40 hours, all right? So if this is confusing, just fast forward the video. 40 hours. I know that anything beyond 60 hours in this problem would be considered double time. So let me put 60 hours, all right? So what I have here is from 0 to 40 is regular time. Anything beyond 60 is double time. All right, let me move that a little bit so it doesn't. There we go. And then lastly, everything in between for my visual learners here, between 40 and 60, this will be considered overtime. All right, so maybe that helps you, maybe it doesn't. So regular time, he's getting paid regular time hours, which is 20. Overtime, he's getting paid time and a half, and then double time, he's getting paid 40. And then you just multiply those numbers. If that helped you, awesome. If it didn't, then just forget what I said. All right, so Dave is a salesman, online advertisement agent. He gets paid 1.2 commission. All right, so if you remember the commission, define commission, it is the percentage times the TS, which is total sales. So commission equals, we have 60,000 times, a lot of folks messed up on this, 0.012. All right, so when you do that, you get an answer of, let's see, I believe it's going to be 720. Okay, now here's the thing, make sure you read the question, and that is he gets a base pay of $800. So that's the commission, that's his base pay. So I'm just going to add those two together, and when I do that, I get 1520. John gets paid $14 an hour, and he gets time and a half for overtime. Notice that there's no longer any double time, so don't worry about that. So I'm going to split this up. The first thing, this represents over here regular time, this represents overtime. Regular time is 40 hours. In this case, overtime would be 8 hours because he worked 48. Regular time, he's getting paid regular time, which is 14 bucks an hour. Overtime, he's getting paid 21 bucks an hour. All right, that's all I needed. So from here, I'm going to take these two numbers and multiply. I'm going to take these two numbers and multiply. And when I add them all up, I get an answer of 728. Okay. Same as shopping at Walmart. He bought paper towels. All right, so you got to add everything up. So $2 plus $3 plus $2 plus $1 plus $4 plus $6. You do the math, you get 18 bucks. Then you times it by the sales tax, which is 0.07. You're going to get your tax. And then once you get your tax, you are then going to take your tax and add it back to the subtotal of 18. So when you do that, you get an answer of $19.26. All right. Now there was a typo here. Some of you guys saw it. Most of you guys did not see it. It was supposed to be 20%. But most folks didn't even look at the directions. Shame on y'all. And you went straight to 11%. All right. So notice that there was a typo here. And I think probably like 5 of y'all saw it yesterday. So we're just going to go off the typo. All right. So this should be 11%. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a proportion. And most folks are getting this right now. All right. So I'm happy to report most of y'all are getting it right. So of course I got to write with my mouse for this. X over 100. Okay. And so I'm also pleased to report that most of y'all got this first one right, which was 1,364. Okay. Now, it says since he is paid semi-monthly. This is where some folks screwed up. Semi-monthly is timesing by 24. Some of y'all times it by 26. So I'm going to times this by 26. Not 326, 26. And so I get an answer of 18,000. Nope, sorry. Working the wrong question there. 32,736. All right. So that's how much it costs to insure him, but we got to figure out how much is he going to pay. He is paying $150 semi-monthly, so we're going to times that by 24. Again, it's 24, not 26. So when we do that, we get an answer of 3,600. All right. So the cost is 32,000, almost 33, and he's paying 3,000 of it. So that means the company pays the rest. So I'm just going to subtract the two, and you get 29,136. All right. Now, that was the typo. If you're someone who actually did the 11%, all right, so if you actually did the 11%, here's the answers. All right, so this was like for all 5 of y'all that actually saw the 11% and worked with it. You should have gotten 750. You should have gotten 18,000. Should have gotten 3,600. That stays the same. And then lastly, you should have gotten 14,400. There you go. All right, so that's it. That's for the folks that saw the typo. All right, Amanda's savings account. Most of you guys got this right, so I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. We're starting at 1250. We're subtracting 350. We'll get an answer of, I believe that's probably 90 bucks. All right, and then she doesn't check her account for 4 months, which that's an additional 40 bucks being taken from her. So that ends up being 860. All right. Now, what really make it or broke y'all when it came to this tax stuff is, well, this quiz is the tax stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, so what we have here is the federal tax table, which is this guy right here. We also have the W-2. Now, remember, all this information right here is federal. All this information down here is state. Okay, so let's go and start answering. So our first one is, how much money did he make? 41,056. There we go. Now it says, how much did the federal government take from him? All right, so that will be on the W-2. That's the other number. The federal government took $6,770. All right, so notice I haven't even had to go to the table yet. 6,770 bucks. All right, now how much should the federal government collect from Joe? Now we got to start filling out our forms here. So let me get my form. All right, there's my form. All right, so first thing is first, 41,056. All right, now we're skipping the next 6 lines. So we're at, for line 7, 41,056. Now, line 8, I can't do it with that, is the infamous 12,000, because it is, for folks that forgot about the 12,000, is right here. We are single in this class. All right, so line 9's a skip, and then we're going to subtract for line 10, and we end up with 29,056. Now, what makes line 10 special? Let me highlight it, because that's the number we're going to look up on to find line 11, which is the tax table, 29,056. So let me go back to our federal tax table. All right, so let me write it right here, 29,056. All right, so let me match it up. So bracket 1, nope. Bracket 2, yes. That's it. So that means I'm going to use all of the rules of the 12% bracket. All right, so when I do that, here we go. It starts off with 970 bucks. I'm going to add 12% times 29,056 minus 9,700. Enter. So in my calculator, I press enter, and I end up getting, let's see, 3,293. So 3,293. Now, I'll be honest with you. Once you get to this question here, you really kind of can stop doing this. All right, you can actually stop doing this, because you have enough information to make your conclusion, since we're keeping things very basic. So going back to our questions, think about it. And that is, this is how much money Joe paid. This is how much money he should have paid. So he overpaid, which if you overpay, that means you're going to get a refund. Okay? And then question number 22, how much will Joe be getting back? Well, again, he paid $6,770. He should have paid $3,293. Find the difference, and your answer ends up being $34,077. There you go. Now, how much did the state collect from Joe in taxes? Now we switched the state, so let's go back to the W-2. Oh, there we are. There's our state. There it is right there. That's how much the state of Georgia took from Joe. $5,500. All right. So $5,500. Now, how much should the state collect from Joe? Well, let's go to our tax forms here. All right. So again, our tax form, filling it out. Make this a little bigger. All right. So Joe made $41,056. Now we're automatically going to take 5,000 because that's what it says, step 2. So now we're looking up 36,056. All right. Now again, that number's special because we're taking that number and looking it up on the tax table. All right. And I have my tax table right here. All right. So here's state of Georgia. Let me scroll all the way down. All right. So there's our tax table. All right. So I'm looking up 36,056. So 36,056. There's 32, 33, 34. Oh, next page. Up there it is. 36,056. So 36,056 is going to be right in between there, which means I'm going to take this number. All right, 1,973. All right, so going back to my form. 1,973. Oops. Now again, once you get to this form on the tax table, or on the state tax, you're technically done. I mean, from what we're doing. All right, because everything else you can pretty much, because everything's basic. So we know that we're at 1,973. So again, you can make your conclusions here. All right. So if you think about it, this is how much money this is how much money Joe has paid. This is how much money he should have paid. So obviously he paid almost double the amount. All right, you can actually make an argument he almost paid triple the amount. All right, so I'm going to conclude that he is going to get a refund because he overpaid. Now, how much did he get? Well, let's figure it out. $5,500 minus 1973. So when I do that, we get $3,527. All right, so my prediction is that the tax stuff will make or break you. So make sure you're doing everything you're supposed to do with the taxes, because that's what I think is going to be the deciding factor of this test that you're going to take. Anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching.